Welcome to episode 26 of Greatest Let's Play Modded Minecraft series, and I've had to shut down that remote AE system. I guess one advantage is of Direwolf and other people who don't use AE remotely means that they don't have any power draw, and this capacitive power, which is the permanent thing that powers both the AE system remotely and the frame shifters, the frame pushers. It was drawing 470 RF per tick or something. Yeah, it wasn't cheap. So for the moment I've shut it off, and I will have that on separate control once we've got through this next part. Today you'll notice I've took this wall down and started excavating a hole. Today is a big reactor time, and some of you may recognise the size of this thing is why. But just a brief introduction, that is going to my input on my capacitor bank. This is going to my AE system. Of course, there's nothing attached to it yet. I had a look online at some spreadsheets that many people on the Reddits and the various forums were talking about various different sizes of big reactors. Basically, it's a multi-block, so you can make it all kinds of sizes. You do need to kind of make it odd numbered sided, but other than that, yeah, you can do what you want. There's two that interest me. One is making it a 7x7x7, the other one is making it a 7x7x3. They're both on the spreadsheet I've seen marked as pretty good for their size, and I kind of like to test the difference between them. Unfortunately, the 7x7x7, in order to be at its most efficient, needs diamond blocks, and for each, to give you an idea, 7x7x7 means the internal dimensions are 5x5x5 because it's one thick walls on all sides, which means in the configuration that I want, I'm going to need 4 diamond blocks per level. So that means I'm going to need 20 diamond blocks, which is 180 diamonds or thereabouts, and I have 83. Clearly not enough. So I'm going to start with the 7x7x3, and that gives me a good opportunity to record what it actually does, because I don't know if you know this, you may know this, you may not. The DW20 pack has had the big reactors massively nerfed because Direwolf thinks they're overpowered, and apparently they are. I've never really used big reactors in my packs before now. They do look cool though, and because I've got 1400 Yellorium, I thought probably time to try and start using it instead of coal. And of course, remember that our automatic mining has already brought in 38, and I've only mined about 10 rows, 15 rows, something like that. So you'd hope it would be self-powering, and we can add some more control to make sure that that happens instead of just burning constantly. But let's start with burning constantly. Reactor. As you see on the right hand side, there's lots of blocks. These are the ones at the top. And there are two types of big reactor. The first type is passive. That's what everyone starts with. Then we go active, and that's where it becomes just, well, insane amounts of power. So much power that you actually want to find something to actually use it for that uses that much power. That's how much power it does. 64 wide auto mining world eater, you say? Overpowered, you say? Yeah. So first we're going to have to make a passive reactor, and that's the difference is largely with the active reactors. You make a passive block, if you like, that produces steam. Then you create a turbine or multiple turbines if you're really lucky or design really well, which are like steam turbines in real life. They spin. The spin creates power, current, and you get lots of power out of it. But the passive ones, we start off with this basic unit, reactor casings. To make that, we need to make graphite bars. We've got the rest, it's just iron and yellorium. Graphite bars are made by smelting charcoal, which you can make by smelting wood, which I've already been doing in the background. So let's see how many of these I need. I'm probably going to need about 200, so let's see we've run out. Ooh, 3 stacks entirely. I'm going to need 200 for the 7x7x7, not so much for the not so much for the cheaper 7x7x3. So let's just lay this out to start off with. It's much like laying out a railcraft tank. If you're used to those, then it's it's pretty much the same thing. Oh, that's a painted glowstone, that's why. And the bottom, I could set this into the ground, but no, it's okay. It's fine where it is. Unlike a railcraft tank, though, you don't need an actual block in the center bottom. You know, the valve block. There we go. So, because we're only making 3 tall, we've only actually got 1 row of internal volume. Like that. Which is a little weird. I'm going to need 1 more of those conduits, aren't I? It's going to need to go here. So I've got some access. Let's just clear this bit out. I'm not going to need access on these 2 sides, I don't think, but we'll see where we get to. So, we've not finished yet, actually. Don't worry about the top for now, because there's going to be other stuff in that. Let's just fill in some of the sides, and to do that we want the next block. Reactor glass, where are you? Turbine glass, reactor glass. So here we are, and let's just make. Really hard. Well, that should be enough for this particular build. I need more glass. So just fill in the sides. I'm not worried about connecting things just yet. Reactors require at least 1 control rod, yes, of course, and I need more glass for this. So I'm getting a lot of sandstone from the automatic mining now, which means I can make sand. I think I only need like 1 piece. Yeah, you'll do. There we go, that's the glass layer. Next, we want to make the fuel rods, which if you think of a traditional nuclear reactor, the fuel rods get inserted. And depending on how far they're inserted depends on the reaction rate. So let's just get react. So everything that starts with that. Fuel rods. We're going to need 5 for this particular thing. Am I out of graphite bars already? Must be. That's annoying. Those wood spheres are really kind of useful. You, and you. I have charcoal still. You. Actually, forget that. There we go. And you put more on. So, we're not going to need many of these fuel rods. Oh god, reactor rods. And these are going to go in a kind of an X pattern. like this. The idea is that, you know, the radiation goes off this way and this way and this way and this way, kind of like the IC2 nuclear reactors, and it gets absorbed by other things. So in these slots we're going to create some absorbers that will help, I think that increases the heat, which is something you want to keep at a certain temperature. And for that, that's why the diamonds are so expensive. Not so much in real life, but in Minecraft. I'm not going to need 8 diamond blocks. What am I doing? I need 4. The absorbers are going to be here. Then we want the control rods, and those are the things that insert the fuel up and down. So I'm making this step by step, hopefully keeping this easier for you that way. We're going to need one of those for every fuel rod, so that's 5. So these go on top here. And yeah, that should be fine. Now we want the coolant. That I'm going to use this. We want a pipe fluid ender, or molten ender, whatever you want to call it. Here and go. It is filling, it's just that that tank is absolutely huge. So we're going to need a layer on the outside, so that's 5 on one side, 5 on the other, that's 10, and then it's going to need 16 buckets in here. And how much do I get from one ender pearl, I wonder? Not a lot. So I'm going to need to put more stacks in here. I think it's something like 250, I'm guessing, per ender pearl, which means I'm going to need 4 of ender pearl stacks, which is 16 per stack, unfortunately. Which did stack in at 64 like everything else. I can grab 3 buckets worth out of there as well. With a coolant, it doesn't matter that you fill, as far as I know, it doesn't matter that you fill every available block around the outside here. The only ones that matter are the ones, well, in this case there's only one high, so internal volume, so it doesn't matter. The same thing actually works for anywhere. But if this was more than one tall, you wouldn't want to, at least as far as I know, again, try to fill it every block. You just put the enderium into the top block and let it flow downwards like water. I'll just let it cook up the rest while I go and put this down. Where did my bucket go? Weird. Enderium is so weird, it even teleports buckets. You'll see how we're getting pretty much static Enderium now. I don't want to step into it just because of the teleport possibilities. Yes, stepping in liquid Enderium will teleport you to a random place. Not good. It does look like 250 or 5. Yeah, it is 250. This should be enough. Just check. Sure that everything has. I needed one. Yep, we're all done. So the reactor's at least filled with coolant now. And we need to close it up. And I've just remembered I should have put other units in first, but that should be okay. I want a reactor controller. One of you. I want definitely a power tap. I want 2 access ports, I think. Coolant port we don't need because it's not an active reactor. Rednet ports. Redstone port. I'll keep our options open. I'll have one of each. Okay, I won't have one of each. I'll start with one of these. Fine. So first you can seal the top with glass if you want to. I'm just going to seal it. Actually, yeah, we'll seal it with glass. Or I may not have enough. In which case, meh. That's annoying. Yeah, for now, I will just seal it and I'll replace it later with glass. I just don't want to accidentally step in this stuff, that's the only thing. Fine. Not enough controllers. Reactors require at least one. Fine, let's add one. Let's put it here. This is where I get a bit nervous. As... Ah! Yes, it was about to flow and teleport me, but that's fine. It's a bit slower than water. So as you can see, it's got a few options. We've got the main controllers, or control gauges. We've got an activate reactor deactivate, still currently deactivated, and whether to eject the waste or not, and it's offline at the moment. Over here, I want the coolant, the coolant access ports, basically, so you can use this to create them. And you... Ah! Really? Do I get some glass back? No? This is probably how I'll end up with most of the glass for the top. Yeah. So now if I right click, you see nothing's happening and you see the multi-block actually formed. So we can start it up, but to start it up we need the yellowite. And we need one more thing actually, we need the power tap installed. Power tap is going to be over here. Which needs one more conduit. And I don't have any on me, of course. I should actually put a crafting terminal down there, or an ME terminal, something like that. Conduit. And I'm out of conduit. And I'm out of vibrant alloy. Not be out of energetic though. We'll need a few. Conduit. Yeah, doesn't one at a time. Come on. There we go. Conduit. And what else did I need? Ah, yes, some fuel. Now, big reactors start with yellorium, and they produce, I think it's cyanide or something like that, as the waste product. So I want one of these feeding stuff in and the other pulling stuff out, because remember it's going by AE, so I don't think I can have importing and exporting at the same time. So relatively straightforward there. If I set this to, see here I have the yellow is input, blue is export, by the way. So eject waste containing the reactor, placing it in the access ports, that's fine. Eject fuel, no. Inlet mode, outlet mode. Yeah, there we go. Inlet mode. Eject fuel. Okay. So I want to place an import bus on the access port, and I'm going to hook you up. Whoops, not with that. And it's online. Great. Now I'm going to hook up a export bus And I'm going to set your filter to be Yellorium. And I'm hook you up. Have I just run out of channels? That would be really annoying if I had. I have. Good demonstration of what to do if you have run out of channels. I think this is on the same bus as these, so if it's that way, yeah, that's full up to that point. So if I just grab some there we go. And it's active. Should be exporting. Oh, there's fuel in it. Yeah, that's fine. I don't need to do anything. If you see the fuel reactors in there, it's, yeah, there we go. Starting to stack up. Okay, so that's the fuel in there. As you can see, that's full. Power tap now. I want to connect you. It's gone green. That's good. And let's see what happens. So we have to wait a little while the heat builds up. It should build up to something like 800, I think, or close to. And then we should start seeing, irradiation will burn up rate. So 0.37 millibuckets per tick. And it's probably filling up our capacitor up above. Yeah, look at that. Where's my input one? Yeah, average input 3000 RF per tick. So that is certainly a decent reactor. Is it a best one? Maybe not, but it is working. Yeah, there we go. You see, you got some depletion of the fuel, which will get ejected. We can reprocess that back into about half the amount, I think, if I remember rightly, and put it back into the reactor. But we're pretty much stable. Unfortunately, what this is going to do is it's going to continue using fuel, no matter what we actually do, even when this is full. So we could do with some kind of loopback system that says, if this is full, and this is what this is already doing, if you like, the emit signal when storage is less than 10% full. If this is, I could actually change that to be, I don't know, 50. Then start the reactor up, please, because we're obviously going to need the more power. Not sure, however, if 3000 RF per tick is going to actually be enough. So let's just start this back up. If I say start you up, now we should see the output. See, that's growing, and it's dropped down again. Okay. Now let's see what happens to this. Let me turn our miner on. Well, hopefully it should start. This is going to take like 10 seconds to kick in. There we go. Output 8,000, 9,000, 11,000, and it's dropping again because it's moving, and it's starting back up again because of the timer. So have we got a positive or a negative? I need to leave this for a while and see whether it's enough running at full speed. It's on 30 million now. Yeah, it doesn't look like we've got enough. We've got a big reactor producing 3,000 RF per tick, and it's not enough. Wow. That's at full, by the way. So what we could do is we could set this to instead, when this is getting near full, start up the miner, then stop it when it gets low, and let it fill up again. That means you don't need to control the reactor. The reactor can be on all the time. You're just actually getting more and more stuff. So that's one way around it. I'll have a think, and I'll be right back. I think once I've had a look at some options. So yeah, I've gone for the simplest option right now, which is to... Oh, actually, I don't need that. Wait. I've basically enabled this thing permanently. Ignore the redstone signal because I've got enough coming in. But behind it, I've got a NOT gate. And the NOT gate goes to the broadcaster, which turns on the auto miner. So here, I'm saying emit a signal when we're less than 40% full. That would normally start the miner up, but because this is reversed by the NOT gate, this basically is saying is turn the miner off when we hit 40%. And it says stop emitting when it's equal or greater than 80%. So that means turn the miner on when we hit 80% full. Right now, mine's on, as you can see by the rapid draining of this resource. So 40% is what? 4.5 million times 4, so that's 18 million. As soon as this thing's as soon as this baby hits 18 million, yeah, we'll see what she can really do. That should actually get down to about here and then turn off. So I'm happy. I'm so confident. I'm just going to seal it up. This is usually the point at which things break badly. However, I'm going to make sure that everything is running on this side. What I'm hoping it doesn't happen. Where's my miner? Aha! It's moved. Yeah, look at that. And because of the chunk loader, this is the only place where things can spawn, so everything spawns. It's a field of hobgoblins. And yeah, as we can now see, boom. And that setup is almost complicated enough to move with something like A2 pylons. I forgot what they're called. Ah, there we go, another sphere of cobble. So I'm pretty happy with that. We've now got, aside from the falling hobgoblins, we've now got a really nice automatic mining solution that's just moving and eating everything in its path. The main problem with this is actually at the moment now we've got enough power to have it running for a while, then it'll be off for a while and running for a while. I'm not going to worry about increasing that big reactor size until I've got a lot more diamonds, and that's going to have to wait until this moves on quite a bit more. It's sorry, just amused by the hobgoblins falling. Yeah, that's gonna have to wait till we've got an awful lot more diamonds, which is fine. Stand on top here. What happens? I think it still moves. Ah, move with it. That's cool. My main concern at the moment, aside from the power, which I can solve, that just needs more resources now, is how to get out here, because there's my home place, but this has already moved, I don't know, maybe 4 chunks, 5 chunks, and it's going to keep going in that direction forever, as long as I don't have an override switch, which I probably should create an override switch. Yeah, there's the funky mechanism, funky locomotion. I'm going to need to get back out here. Getting back shouldn't be too much of a problem because I can probably put a book on a stand inside there somewhere, which will be easy to get back. But getting out here, I can't just use a book, because if I use a book, it's going to fix it to this location, and the thing's going to move. So I could keep putting books out there, you know, in steps of 64 or something, and I don't think there's any portal mechanism which isn't based on Mistcraft that I know of in the Direwolf pack. At least not yet. Just a random thing. We've got Mistcraft, that's no use. Deep Dark, that's no use. End Portal Frame, definitely no use. Bedrock Portal, Twilight Forest, Spirit Portal, and Torment Portal. Nope. Nothing I know of that can get me out of here any faster. I suppose you could think about gateways from, you know, the Nether Portal, that kind of mechanic where you jump 8 blocks for every one if you go through and then back, but this is a Mistcraft age, so I'm not sure if that's going to help. No, I'm kind of stumped there. But we do need some way to get back out here, you know, just attach it to the back here like a little platform. I could certainly put a book. Probably will do that actually. In the meantime, I don't know. But that's the end of this episode, an introduction to big reactors, which are pretty damn cool, it's got to be said. See how much waste we've built up yet. In fact, it should be exported into the system, so we look in here, ingots. I've already made some of these from other stuff, so I don't think that's what we did in that short amount of time. I've got 1253. That's stayed relatively constant so far. I'll keep tracking that over time. Cyanite will build up, but we can reprocess that, I think. Let's just look up cyanites. Yeah, so uses for cyanites. It's used to make the turbines, which is why we need some of it to make the bigger reactors, the bigger reactors, and the rotor blades. Should be able to reprocess it somehow. Maybe the dust. Nope, I'll have to look that up. In fact, is it in here? Interesting, the QED can triple yellowite ore. As opposed to doubling with pretty much everything else. Oh, that might be interesting. What if we can filter things in and out of the QED? Just needs coal, which doesn't need me all that much. Yeah, we'll get to that next episode. Anyway, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, or leave a comment below. Tell me this was terrible or amazing. Up to you entirely. Thanks for watching.